Good morning, John. Well, here we are, another day in paradise, as we always start off our little video. Today, paradise happens to be occurring in the middle of a drought in north central PA. We're getting rain south of the state. We're getting rains north up in upstate New York coming off the lakes. We've got rain east of us and west of us, but we have no rain here. Pine Creek is extremely low. The trout in the Pine Creek are at the mouths of the feeder streams, and a lot of people are abusing them. They're netting them, kicking them, throwing rocks at them, and picking them up and having their pictures taken of them, and it's kind of a shame. There was some drilling done to put a new bridge in last week, and probably 30 really big fish got killed because of the interruption in the flow of that little stream. At any rate, life goes on, and we have had droughts in the past. We'll have droughts in the future. The good news is droughts always get over. The bad news is they could go for 2 to 3 years before the cycle breaks. So how do we deal with this? We deal with this by getting prepared to put more big fish in Pine Creek when it's finally over. So your activities in support of the Brown Trout Club will even be more important in the next coming years. So how do we deal with it? Be a member, be an active member, and support the organization. It provides a wonderful trout fishing experience. We're not saying that we're creating a great trout stream that reproduces trout. We've never made that comment, but it does produce some wonderful trout fishing experience. So be an active member and support it. So much for that. Another thing that I'd like to call your attention to is Bob and Dottie Weber. Many of you know them, but there are a lot of you out there that don't know them. They lived a life that a lot of us have, some of us I should say, have dreamed about, living in a cabin out in the middle of the woods. They were 2.5 miles from the closest utility pole, no electric, no plumbing, no sewage. And Bob and Dottie lived a wonderful, wonderful life. They weren't there because they couldn't get along with the current society that we live in, and they weren't doing it as a protest. They just loved being out in the woods and living their life, and they lived that their whole lives. Well, they both have passed away now. Their cabin has been dismantled and moved up to the Lumbermen's Museum, where it has been rebuilt. So you can go up to right outside of Coudersport to the Lumbermen's Museum and see their cabin. It was a cabin not built, it wasn't a multi-million-dollar production cabin like we see today, but it was a log cabin built with broad axes, and the trees were taken right on spot. So there might have been a white oak, maybe a red oak, maybe a cherry log. Their cabin, it created a home, and they lived in that home their whole lives. At one point Bob received a promotion in forestry. He had to move out to a cabin where people had access to him on Route 44, and that didn't last long, and Bob decided to take a demotion so that they could go back to their cabin and live their life. So today there is a video. Jeff Swingholm has produced a wonderful, incredible video of their lives. And even if you've never heard of Bob and Dottie, once you look at the video, watch the video, you will know Bob and Dottie. You will feel what they believed in. So elsewhere in this this presentation that you're getting, you'll see a way or find a way on here where you can buy that video. It's $20. The funds that are being raised will hopefully train a new forester, and wouldn't it be neat if he would end up working in this district. But Jeff Swingholm has a wonderful idea to promote forestry proper operations, and Bob was part of that. We all believed in Bob and his way of life, so watch the video. And there's information and directions to get on and see one of the videos and watch it. It'll change your attitude in life, and you'll relax for a few moments. So at any rate, do that. Drought-wise, we're in it. It's a shame, but it's life. And I had a close friend of mine that once told me, he said, Tom, he said, I was griping about the extreme weather and that I wanted normal, average weather, and he said, there is no such thing. You don't have normal or average weather until you take all the extremes and you add them all together and you divide it out, and that's your average weather. And Jim Glenn just sold his place here on Slate Run, and I'm watching some of our older members. I've been here for a little over 50 years now, and I'm watching some of these people disappear, and they're being replaced by wonderful people, and they live their lives. This early winter, past winter, I had an old gentleman came to me and he said, Tom, I'm 95, I have 6 bamboo rods, I'd like you to sell them. And it was kind of sad to hear him say that. He was finished for life in fishing, but he had a wonderful fishing life, and so you can't be really upset or sad over that, because he ran the cycle, and we sold his rods, all of his bamboo rods, and I took it up and gave him the money, and he wanted to pay me a commission. I said, no, Cliff, I said, you paid your commission over 40 years ago. And he said, what do you mean? I said, Deb and I were just starting our business here, and we had our dreams and where we wanted to go in life, and we had a bill, and at the time it seemed astronomical, $500. We didn't have any business, we didn't have any money. But we had the bill, and out of nowhere, Cliff walked through the front door and bought a Battenkill 2-piece fly rod with 2 tips for $575, and we had our money to pay. And so I told Cliff, I said, Cliff, you paid it that day. He said, I told him, when you walked in, I said, you paid off any debt you could ever possibly have had for me. So thank you, Cliff, and I enjoyed watching your life cycle in fly fishing, and I was glad to be a part of it while you were here. I'm glad to be a part, actually, of the ending of it. So thank you very much. And again, everyone, support the Brown Trout Club. The drought will get over. Maybe longer than we want, but it'll pass on and things will be back in normal. So thank you, and till the next time, see you then.